No, no, honey, I'm good. I could have another, but I probably should not. I got somebody at home. It's been a long night here and a long night there, and these long, long legs are damn near everywhere. Hold up, now you look good. I will not lie, but if you ask where I'm staying tonight, I gotta be like, oh baby, no baby, you got me all wrong, baby. My baby's already got all of my love. So no, no, honey, I'm good. I can have another, but I probably.
Hello and welcome to the Fearless Knitter podcast. I'm Courtney, also known as Stitches Please on Ravelry and Instagram. And this is Cheyenne. And I took quite a while of a break, I think 6 months, but I just wanted to record again. But this is only to say hello real quick before she gets all antsy. She's now 18 months old and gigantic. Say hi. Say hi. All right, and I will be back once she's in bed. Bye. All right, so Cheyenne is in bed, so here I am to record. This is episode 79. I just looked and I already forgot. It's 79. The last time I recorded was right around Christmas time, so it's been about 7 months, 6 months since I recorded. Um, and a lot has changed. This is going to be the longest episode in history of the Fearless Knitters. So, uh, let's get started. Um, the last time I recorded, I don't think I talked about it because it was really fresh still, and it still hurt to talk about it. But we no longer have the cats. We unfortunately had to give them to a better home because of Cheyenne. We thought they were doing good with her. I mean, she was almost a year old when we decided we had to get rid of them. Not get rid of them, rehouse them. Um, Boogie started getting aggressive with Cheyenne. He would try and scratch her, and he wasn't cool with her. And Sedona felt very neglected and started getting extremely bad habits that just got out of control, and both of them, we just couldn't handle it anymore on top of Cheyenne. And it just became a decision, what's better for our child. They are, our cats, we were very attached. We're still missing them like crazy. There's not a day I don't miss them. We were very attached to them. They were family, but they were not my daughter. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just became for the better of Cheyenne. So no longer have Sedona or Boogie. I hope they're at a better home, but we had to. It got really bad. Um, and then I switched jobs. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know some of the stuff. But I hated my last job. If you know, when I was 9 months pregnant, I was laid off from a company. I was unemployed for 7 months. I stayed home with Cheyenne. And then I found a new job for a doctor office, and they were co-owned by the company that laid me off when I was 9 months pregnant. And I hated it. I hated everybody that worked there. I hated the company. Um, they are my daughter's doctors. It still, works for that company. I don't have any problem with the doctors except for one, but the staff is ridiculous. They were all very backstabby and um, a lot of gossip and a lot of just stuff I don't need. I'm too old for, and which is funny because I wasn't the youngest. But, it was just too much. Gosh, and well, what I was trying to say is like I wasn't the oldest, not the youngest. There was only like a couple of people that were younger, and they weren't really doing the gossip. The gossip was the older people. It was ridiculous. Um, and then also the policies. It's very difficult to work for a company when you don't believe in any of the policies that they follow. So, anyways, they ended up firing me for the dumbest reason ever. And really, turns to come out, they're broke too, and they're going under, and they didn't want to pay me unemployment because they have no floats anymore. So, I mean, come on now. Anyways, luckily I was only unemployed for a week. I found a much better job. Love my job. Love the people I work for. It's a family business. It's for an AC company. I love it. So that's good. I've worked there for yeah, I think I'm coming up on 3 months. Yeah, 2 months. So coming up on the third month, and I really like it. And because of the new job, I have more knitting time, so I can come back and record. Yay! I work still full time, but technically I work more hours but less in a day. It's really weird. When I was a float receptionist for the stupid doctor offices, um, I worked. It was technically a shift of 9 hours, but I didn't really work 9 hours because I was afloat, so I could go in later and I left earlier, but it was later in the day. Like it was really weird. I worked from like 8:30 8:30 to 5:30, but really I worked from 9 to 5, but now I work 8 to 4. So I get off sooner, which means I have more energy. Um, kind of work less hours, but more. It's Um, and I see Cheyenne longer. But then by the time Cheyenne goes to bed, I have more energy so I can knit more. And Cheyenne goes to bed later now too. But don't ask me how it works. Also, my job is not as emotional stressful. It's still a stressful job, but it's not emotionally draining. So, which gives me more energy and I can knit more. And also, right now it's busy season, but once it's slower season, I can knit at work, I believe. And so everything is gone bad with that. And I have no show notes, so I'm kind of like going by the seat of my pants trying to figure out what else happened in 7 months. I cut my hair. That happened recently. But yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you know most of the things. So Cheyenne is growing up fast. Last time you saw her, she was almost 1. She didn't walk yet. She's now running. She's a monkey. She climbs everything. She's starting to talk, and we're starting potty training. Slowly. We're doing it very gradually. Like we bought a potty, so she's used to seeing the potty, and sometimes she sits on the potty, and she's very interested in the potty. So we thought, why not? Um, and she's growing like a weed. So anyways, let's go to knitting because I have a mountain of stuff right here. Um, I did a lot. And I have an iPad now, so I'm gonna try an attempt, and it has a bunch of fingerprints on it from Cheyenne, but we'll see how this works. Because I have no show notes. So the last thing you saw me knitting, I went back and watched, were the mucklucks by Tin Can Knits, and I finished them, and I learned a lesson about color work. So here they are. Um, you can see it, it's pretty obvious. Cheyenne worn them a lot this winter. They're super adorable. So I made the toddler size. I probably could have went a size up, really. I could have made the foot longer. That's really what it is. Um, the gray is Plymouth Galway worsted in light gray, and the purpley color is Stonehenge Fibers worsted in raspberry. Both of them have been in my stash for like years, many years. I bought it in a yarn store in Culpeper. I only went to once, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. So what I learned is it's very important what color you hold in front. And I didn't pay attention by the time I got to the second one. I thought I remembered which one it was, but I didn't. I knew that it mattered, but I didn't think it would matter this much. So they're kind of different. But you can't tell when she wears them. You just can tell when it's like, bam! But when she has them on her feet and she's moving, you really can't. So, first, finished object. Alright, let's move on to the next one. There is a lot of them, so you have to bear with me. I'm sorry. Then I knit, oh, I don't have that here. I gave this to my sister. My sister had another baby. She had a girl who, I believe you probably heard me talk about her. She was pregnant. She had her in February. So I made a dress for her. It's cute. And that is the Summer into Fall by Lisa Chameri. And I made the 6-month size out of Barocco Vintage in the raspberry color. And I made, I should have showed that. I crocheted some flip-flops to go with it. I don't have a picture of just the flip-flops, but here's the dress for the flip-flops. Super cute. The gray was the same gray as of this, and then the raspberry. And those are the baby strap flip-flops by Bethany Dearden. I made the 3 to 6 month size, and I used a G hook. And then something you might have seen on the needles, because I knitted this for a long time. Yeah, I started this in June 2014 and finished it March. That was the Skywalker by Laura Nelkin, and I used a US 5 3.75 millimeter needle, and Joanne Sensation Bamboo and Ooh in purple. And I had the hardest time blocking out the wavy section. I couldn't block it out. So, I don't know what happened there. But for Joanne's yarn, this yarn is really nice. I had the Craftsy class. I believe you can buy the individual pattern now. But I had the Craftsy class that I bought a long time ago when I didn't know how to knit lace, and I had knitted, and then I've halfway through frogged it out. I don't even remember why. And then now I'm good at lace. I didn't really need the class. I still watched here and there because you learn little tidbits. And then I knitted Miss Winkle by Martina Bem on US 4 3.5 millimeter needles, and I used Miss Babs Yummy 2-ply in the Maryland 2013 color. And I did not block this. You're supposed to block it and put a stick through all the loops, but I don't think Martina Bem patterns really need to be blocked. So you have loops. It's like the hitchhiker instead of the little pointies. You have this, and I've knitted the hitchhiker. I love Martina Bem patterns. So this yarn was an impulse buy in Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival 2013. And I used every little bit. That's what I love about Martina Bem patterns. Then I had a tradition I started last year for Cheyenne, where for Easter I knit her Easter bunny. This was the one I knitted last year, the bunny nugget. So this year I knitted Easter bunny in a carrot, cozy, that's the name of the pattern, by Tatiana Kurokova. And I used a US 2 2.75 millimeter needles. Here's the little bunny. I embroidered his face. And the green, I don't know the colors, I'm sorry, but it's Knit Picks palette, and so is the white. He has a little bushy tail. It's kind of a pain, you know, you knit the ears, 2 separate ears. The hat, not hat, I'm sorry, that's the German in me. The head, I have to mentally, every time I say hat and head, I have to mentally pause which one to say. The head, then you knit the body, 2 arms, 2 legs, the tail, and you sew it all together. And then you have this, somebody, I don't know who, sent me, well, I know if I would look back, but sent me a bunch of yarn for my hexapuffs, and this bright orange was in there. I have enough still to knit a hexapuff, but I needed orange for a carrot, so I used this. So your bunny can look like the tops of a carrot. And this I I think I blocked this. I probably didn't. So, and I have the next 5 years, I think, blocked out, like, on my queue for bunnies. Because every Easter people come out with bunny patterns. Okay. And I forgot about this until I went through my Ravelry to see what I all knitted. I haven't even blocked this, and I finished this in April. I have a pile of FOs that need to be getting a picture taken for my Ravelry, and that's where I found this. It's a matchy Rosewater for Cheyenne. I have the same hat in the same color. It's Rosewater by Tin Can Knits, and I used a US 4 3.5 for the brim and a US 6 4.0 for the body. And it's yarn that I won on Instagram, Color Adventures. I say I changed it. No, they didn't change the name. That was somebody else. Color Adventures, Sweet Merino, Decay, and Sour Cherry. I got to pick out what yarn I wanted from them, and I picked it out purposely for the Rosewater for me and for Cheyenne, because I knew what's gonna have enough. So it needs to be blocked bad. I don't know how to block a baby hat. Mine I blocked with a plate, but I don't know if I have a bowl that will fit this, but we can have matchy hats this winter. Last winter she had only one hat. This winter she probably is gonna only have this one. Last year she wore the barley hat that my friend Pam knitted for her. She used that a lot. That hat looks worn because it was a rough winter. So for next winter. And then I finished a project that was on my needles for 3 years. Well, very shy of 3 years. It was going to be 3 years. The beginning of June. I finished it the end of April. I finished the knitting at the end of April. I was weaving in ends with my friend Pam on the couch the morning of Maryland Cheap and Wool. I finished the Dahlia. Yay! And I wore it to Maryland Cheap and Wool. It's an open front cardigan with a rolled collar. That's very difficult to show. But the sleeves I had to make shorter. I actually had to order yarn from somebody off a D-stash. They had one skein left in the same dye lot. And the yarn where I bought it, the yarn store has shut down since. So, plus I bought it 3 years ago. But my sleeves are modified. They're supposed to have lace panel. They're supposed to be bracelet length, I think, and they're supposed to have lace on here. Mine are about, I don't know, they go to like, they're like past the elbow, I think, a little bit. 3/4 length, and they don't have lace. Where is the sleeve? Here. But I like it, and I'm glad it's done. So that's the Dahlia Cardigan by Heather Sopetti. Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash Sport in the Daffodil colorway. And this was supposed to be for my sister, but I'm keeping it. My sister is not very knit worthy sometimes, and I knit this for almost 3 years. It's my precious. Too much went into this. Okay. Then I decided to do Camp Loopy this year. I did it. The first year I did it was 3 years ago, I believe, and I hadn't done it since. But this year I decided to join in. And the first month, the theme was, it's all safari themed, and the first one was to knit something you would spy on a safari, and I picked cheetah print. I did the So Faux Cowl by Amy Kiefer, and it's in the Knit Scene Accessories 2013 magazine, and I have that magazine. And I had this cowl in my queue for a while and I had no reason to really knit it, but no. And I was going to use the same colors they did. They used a cheetah type, you know, the brown with the beige background. But then I went on People's Ravelry and somebody made it out of pink and black and I loved it. Ooh, it looks so good on camera. It's blocked and everything. All I have to do is I have to take the finished object picture, which I'm probably going to do tomorrow when my husband is home, and post it on the Loopy group site. And if it looks like it has decreasing in it, it's supposed to do that. So, oh, it smells so good. It smells like Soak Celebration. I used a US4 3.5mm needles and Cascade Heritage sock yarn, and the pink is Tutu and the black is Black Knight. I love it. Ooh, Sheeta. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw it every time I knit on it. I like it a lot. It's probably the most, I don't know, when I saw the pattern, I was like, oh my god, I want it. And when I decided to knit it, I told my mom this is going to be the most difficult thing I've ever knitted, the most intricate project I've ever made. It was easy. It really was not that hard. I know how to knit continental and English. So I held both yarns at the same time and just did it that way. And as long as you look at the chart, I know everybody thinks some things are different, easy and difficult, but I think it's not that hard. You have to know how to read a chart for sure. You have to pay attention. I used highlighter tape, and I watched Orange is the New Black while knitting this, doing the decreasing. Granted, I only finished like one row or round per episode, but and if you want to see my inside, the floats, but I tucked them down a different way. They said I didn't understand what they were saying. They were saying something about go the row below. It didn't make any sense. So I looked up YouTube videos on how to tuck them in, and I did it that way. But some of them are long. I had one. It was gigantic long. I don't even know what happened. The loop was like this long. Like my tension, I don't know what happened. I ended up cutting it in half and weaving it in. And weaving in ends when you have all floats is kind of interesting. Oh, you could wear like this. It's all funky. There's one I have to show you guys. There's one that I put in my favorites. Oh my god, the yarn they used, it is amazing. Can I just... One project favorited. I love Ravelry. So easy. Look at this cool cowl. Okay, so this is Cherry Only 138 is her Ravelry name, and she calls it my very 80s PFR cowl. And I was trying to find this yarn, but I couldn't. Look at it. It is amazing. She used a variegated neon color, plus she knit a liner for it, and she's black. That is amazing. So anyway, I have to show you guys. Then I finished another thing, believe it or not. Those I knitted on for a long time too. I don't know how long. I'm guessing December 2014. I'm not sure if that is right. It's the Yes, I'm a Fan Phoenix Suns socks. The color is dyed by I can't talk. Desert Vista Dye Works. It's the Viso base, and it's the Yes, I'm a Fan Phoenix Suns color. And I knitted little anklets afterthought socks, and they are not matchy. I didn't try to. I didn't care. So here they are. So they're slightly off with the gray. They're like off by 5 rows, if, as you can tell. I really didn't care. And these are true afterthought socks because when I knitted on those, I only knitted on those in the car and I didn't have scrap yarn with me or measuring equipment or anything. And I knew I wanted anklets, so I just kept knitting until I thought, okay, that looks good. And then I cut them using lem crochets. I think, no, that doesn't sound, lemnet. Lemnet crochets? Oh my god, I don't remember her name. She had a podcast. She doesn't no longer podcasts, but she has the best tutorial how to cut into socks. Like I felt super confident by the time I watched her tutorial that I could do this. Um, so I snapped. And thanks for Laura from the Knit Girls. She was kind of cheering me on Instagram. It was so cool. Such a fangirl. My heels. This one turned out good. This one, not. I mean, good by the. No, this one on the bottom looks funky too. I don't know. I didn't care how the yarn looked, so here I have this weird orange stripe. This side looks good, decent. And then on here, this one is really funky. I have one gray stripe and one orange stripe in between the gray. I don't know what even, how that even, it had to do with how I picked up. But I don't care because the front is what I care about. And I have enough yarn left over that I'm thinking of making my mom, and they're very sparkly. I'm thinking of making my mom the roller coaster ones that I've been seeing. I don't know what they're called right now. It's some roller coaster, I think. They're anklet socks, and I'm thinking of making my mom a pair because I still have a lot left over. And I used my typical US 1 2.25 millimeter needles for these. My higher sharps. Okay, that's it for finished objects. Breathe. I did a lot. It's been 6 months. I feel like I should have done more. And especially since most of this was done since I switched jobs. As you can tell, I'm not kidding. Let's see. Mucklucks were done. Okay, I still worked my old job. The dress, I'm pretty sure I worked my old job. Skywalker. I was at the end of my old job. And then, so in my old job, I only did these and this. Everything else I knitted, I had my new job. So that shows you guys, if you're like emotionally can't function, you are not knitting. At least that's hard for me. I could not knit because of my old job. I switched jobs and kaboom! Alright, whips. I'm not trying to rush, I have so much. And I forgot a bag. Where is the bag? Okay, I'm gonna have to pause at one point. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back again. And actually I had awesome timing. I went to the front door to grab where my knitting bag was since it was in the car. And my husband just had to stop by and grab something. Okay, so whips. I cast on in April. Seems like everything started around April. I finished a bunch of stuff. I started a bunch of stuff. That's when I started my new job. I cast it on Low Tide by Tin Can Knits. Let me show it to y'all. You've probably seen it. Show it to you on a kid, since I'm making it for a kid. It's very cute. I love Tin Can Knits patterns for children because if I ever feel inclined, I can make a matching one for me. Or if I make some for me, I can make a matching one for her. Like I made the antler for me and I'm planning on eventually making one for her. And same with the Low Tide. And the one I'm making for her, I'm making size 4 to 6 because the way I make do my daughter's clothing, most of them, I make the biggest size I can with how much yarn I have, if I have the yarn in the stash. Or if I buy and it calls for, let's say, 200 yards or something, and I need to buy 2 balls, but then I have way more than 200, and the next size is in the amount of yardage I have, I'm gonna make that one. Does that make any sense? I always will make the bigger size that I can. This one, I made the 4 to 6 year. I'm probably gonna cast on another sweater for her that she can wear sooner, but I have a lot of yarn. This yarn is so old. I got this at my very first Maryland Cheap and Wool in 2012, and so it's not that old, but it's the very first one I bought. I remember it. Pam remembers this probably too. We went into the big barn. We walked around. Now I wasn't gonna buy anything until we walked around for the second time. Well, we walked through the little barns and we walk into the main building. And we walk in and it's the first booth right on to your right. I walk in, I see it, I grab it, I'm like, oh, I want this. I put it back. I keep walking, and we didn't even make it to the second booth. I went back and bought it. And I never heard of it at the time. Now that I'm a little more been around the knitting world a little longer around the block, I'm like, I could have bought this online. I didn't have to buy it in Maryland. But it's Dream and Color Starry, because it has a bunch of sparkles. Look at all the sparkle. And Sundown Orchid. And I was going to knit a shawl with this. I don't know if you remember. It was a Wendy Johnson mystery shawl, but I didn't like it. So I ripped it out and been waiting for the perfect pattern. I was like, why not something for my daughter? And there's a ton of ends on this because what you do is you knit one part, another part, a third part, and then you join it all. Yeah. So here is the bodice part. This is the back. You block it. So this is in one knitting direction, and then I'm knitting downward now. So this is the front. Oh God. There's a lot of stuff going on. Just back and forth, back and forth. And I'm using Vintage Rose. I'm sorry about my green nails. Okay, some people might not. I'm not a fan of green. This is my company has a company color instead of company. Well, we have a logo too, but our color is neon, not neon, but like slime green. And we had an event. We were supposed to have an event this weekend, and so my nails are green. But anyways, I'm using Vintage Rose stitch markers. This is a sweater that's on the needles, very fitting. And then this one is a skein of yarn. I also bought those at Maryland Cheap and Wool 2 years ago. But here it is. It looks tiny, but it really isn't. And the needles are Haya Sharps US 4 3.5mm needles. So that's kind of like my to-go knitting now because it's pretty easy at this point. Like I remember the pattern. And that is in my favorite knitting bag, crammed in. My friend Pam made me this bag, so it's my favorite. Then the next thing on my needles, that one is not meant to go knitting because I have to use my iPad and my iPhone for it. It's the Miranda sweater, and I'm knitting that out of, here's the yarn. It's the Miranda by Jose, okay, it can't be Jose. Josie? It's Josie. Josie Paquin. Sorry, I'm horrible with names. And I'm knitting the size small, 35-inch, out of Line brand, Woolies, Heathers and Twists in gray heather. And I'm using US 6 4.0 millimeter needles and US 8 5.0 millimeter needles. And let me show you the pattern. It's very customizable. I think I'm gonna have to go buy another skein of yarn, but here it is. Can't really see the cable pattern. You can make it with the pocket, without the pocket, with the hood, without a hood, with short sleeve, long sleeves. I'm doing no hood, short sleeves with pocket. I think because of the pocket, I'm gonna have to get another skein. I'm using no fancy stitch markers. And here it is. So when you don't make the hood, it kind of has this little thing. Because I think when you make the hood, it's closed for the hood part, I'm guessing. But you can see the cable. The first time I completely jacked up the cable. I was completely not following the pattern at all. And I was like here, started the pattern right there. And so I did one whole repeat. I was like, this doesn't look right, but let me keep going. So I did a whole nother repeat. And like right around here, I was like, okay, it really doesn't look right. So that's when I decided to, because you only do it, the cabling part, so much. So the first time I was like, well, maybe it's because I just did it and it's like right underneath, you know, the neck. So maybe something isn't, that's why it doesn't look right. So I kept going to do another repeat. And then when I got a little bit lower where you can kind of pull it, that's when I was like, okay, it's really wrong. So I had to pull all the way back to here. I did all this. But the sleeves are done. They're, because they're short sleeves, they're done. There's no more sleeves. So now I'm just going round, round, round. But I have to keep track of the cabling part. So I use my iPhone to count as my row counter. So that's that. And this is my first ball still. So I'm not sure if I'm going to need, oh, I just started the pocket increasing there. You can see. So I'm gonna love wearing this, I think. I hope. But that's kind of on the back burner right now. Actually, both of those are on the back burner. I'm right now in the middle of Camp Loopy, so I focused on this all of June, and then I finished it early. And sorry, I'm showing it wrong this way. When I finished it early is when I finished the socks. I kind of focused on the socks a little bit. And then I focused on low tide for a little bit. I don't think I finished anything else besides the socks. No. And then I focused on low tide. But I really didn't focus on Miranda much. And now, Wednesday, the next Camp Loopy starts. And that's what I'm going to show you what I'm going to make. This time it's the pattern you had spotted in the wild. For example, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, you have friends Ravelry. I found this pattern. Somebody, I don't know who, but I know I saw it on Instagram for sure. And let me go back. It's the Glacier Point. It has to, your pattern also has to be 600 yards. Yeah. This is 615 yards. This had to be 400, and this was 400. So. It's a chevron shawl, or shawl with chevron edging. And it uses US size 6 millimeter needle. So I'm going to be using my signatures. I don't use them very often, but my signatures. trying to find, I just found my extra yarn. See, I have a lot. Grab my tags. I'm going to be using as the main color, Heritage, oh, what was the name of the color? One thing I didn't look. I don't remember. I want to say Fuchsia. Cascading the numbers. I want to say it was Fuchsia. Oh my god, it's gonna kill me. Hold on. I can find out. Be patient. But it's Heritage Sock again, the same I used for this. I love Heritage Sock. I'm gonna try and find out real quick what this is, this color. Otherwise it's gonna be killing me. I want to say it's Fuchsia. Oh, now my nose itches. Well, I'm also going, oh wait, see, so quick. Flamingo Pink. I wanted to say at first Flamingo, but then I wanted to say Fuchsia. I really wanted to say Flamingo Pink. Cascade Heritage Sock in Flamingo Pink, 5647. The Loopy U Solid series. I've never used them before. In Surf. And in Putty. I wish I had more yardage, but for the price, I really can't beat it. But they only have 220 yards, so that's why I got Cascade for the main color, because I need like 300 yards, and this has 437 yards. So that's not the main color. The main color is going to be the Surf. Putty, and Flamingo Pink. So you would think that the main color would use more yarn, but it doesn't, because the pink you use for the border. Hold on. Oh, I turned my iPad so it doesn't flip. So you'll use more yarn. So the dark color that I use, the dark gray, that's going to be my bright blue. And then the beigey color is my beigey color, and the hot pink is going to be my flamingo pink. I can't wait for Wednesday. I want to start so bad. But I'm going to knit on low tide until I wait for Wednesday. Okay. That's it for whips. I'm probably going to cast on a sweater for Cheyenne that she can use sooner. There's one. I just went through my Ravelry the other day and changed how, you know how my queue, everybody uses their queue different. The way I use my queue is anything I want to ever knit, anything I ever think about knitting, like, oh, that's pretty, I'm probably, maybe at some point want to knit this, it goes my queue. So my queue is like 18 pages. Oh, I think I just eliminated to 17, but I added more stuff, so it might be 18 again. And then I sorted. I have tabs. I used to have a baby tab, a baby girl, a baby girl, and baby boy, because my sister had a nephew. Now I eliminated those, and I sorted by size. So I have up to 2, up to 3, up to 4, up to 5, and months-wise, it's all sorted. I have so many tabs now, up to, because what the problem would be is I would forget about a pattern that I really wanted to knit for her. I would go through my queue, find it, look at it, and she can't wear it anymore because they only went up to 18 months. So I sorted it by size, and I'm going through her 3T right now, and I'm trying to knit the stuff that's for 3T so she can, well, up to 3 years, so that she can wear it, of course. That's why we knit, right? Alright, spinning. I have some spinning. You've probably seen this. My spinning is always slacking. I'm a knitter that spins, not a spinner who knits. It's Hobbledehoy 3 Wishes bats. Hand-dyed superfine merino wool, black tussa silk, soy silk, sparkle, 4 ounces. So it came with 3 of these bats. And I have 2 left because I just finished one yesterday, finally. So here's the first one. pretty thin. I'm really not, don't care if there's thick spots, thin spots. I'm spinning one bat per bobbin, and then gonna do a true 3-ply, which I've never done before. So yay! These are a lot of fun. So they look like this, and then you kind of undo it, and then you unfold it. Well, that's what I do. You don't have to, I guess. All that goodness inside. And then I just pull a strip apart and then spin that strip. And I can't really spin with Cheyenne around. I can't knit with Cheyenne around. All my spinning and knitting is done when she's in bed. I try sometimes, if she's really distracted, I can squeeze in some, but most of it is done when she's asleep. Okay. Inquisitions. Well, this was new yarn. That's one thing, I still don't buy a lot of yarn. But this was new yarn, and the one I just showed you for Camp Loopy was new yarn. And I only bought one skein at Maryland Sheeple. But it was a heck of a skein. It doesn't look very big, but it's gigantic. It's really huge. So guess what it is. And it's much greener. It's definitely not this blue. It's a green teal, which is my favorite color of all time. Surprise. But it is Miss Babs Kilimanjaro, which is the fingering weight version of Yowza. So it is 85% superwash BFL and 15% nylon, and it's a whopping 1,425 yards. So I technically bought a sweater's worth. Yeah, it's 11.4 ounces. It's in the Staying Alive color, and I am planning on making I have fuzz, hobbly hoy fuss on me. I'm planning on making a hitafute out of this. I wish you could see the color. It's so much bluer on the camera. It's not blue, it's green. It's a green teal, which is like my absolute favorite color. I'm sorry, you can't see the amazingness of this. It's so pretty. The reason I haven't casted this on is because of Miranda. I needed something a little more mindless, I guess, but I'm thinking Hitafute might be next. I don't know, a new pattern came out that I really, really want to knit, but it asks for linen, and I want to knit it out of linen. But the yarn it asks for, it would cost me a lot to make that sweater, but I really would like to use it. And my battery on my laptop is dying, so I need to hurry up. Also, I bought a magazine. I'm not even going to show you anything. Sorry, it gave me a pop-up that my battery's dying. I'm not going to show you anything of this. This was a complete impulse buy. I was on the cell phone when I bought it, so I didn't look at any of the patterns. I love knit scene, and it was the knit scene accessories, and I was like, you know what? I love them. Why not buy it? I don't know if they let you return magazines. If they would, I would return this. I'm not going to knit anything in this. So, that's that. I'm not going to show you anything. My friend and coworker really likes this hat, and she wears floppy hats. But it's like with a wire and stuff. I don't know if I want to do that. But that's that. And that's everything. So I'm back. I'm not sure if I'm going to record bi-weekly. I'm really going to try to. I think I will. Just best way to find out is follow me on Instagram. That's all I can say. I am so active on Instagram. And my laptop is like blinking at me. So thank you for watching. Oh, and thank you for everybody that's asking me to come back. I was so overwhelmed. Since the 6 months, I constantly get little messages and like on my Ravelry group and everything. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated. Every single time I get one, I'm so taken aback that people want to see me and see me record. So I thank you all so much. And that's why I'm back, because I feel like you guys want to see me. So hi, I'm back. Alright, so hopefully we'll see each other in 2 weeks. Bye.
No, honey, I'm good. I could have another, but I probably should not. I got somebody at home.